All right, in this assignment, we're going to start learning how to estimate the product of a multiplication problem that has a decimal in it. So if we look at A, we have 2.5 times 4. And then we look to the right of it and we see possible answers, 1/10, 1, 10, or 100. Now, to determine which one of those is the most reasonable answer, what we're going to do is we're going to take the decimal and we're going to round it to the nearest whole number. So if I take 2.5 and round it to the nearest whole number, that would be 3. Then I would just take 3 times 4, and that would equal 12. Now, what this shows us is that if 2.5 is close to 3, and 3 times 4 equals 12, then whatever our answer is should be close to 12, because the problem is 2.5 times 4, which is pretty close to 3 times 4. Now, if I look at my answers, which one of these is closest to the quantity of 12? And if I look at it, 10 would definitely be the closest, and 10 would be the right answer. Now we could check it. So if I did that and I chose to use the area model and just multiply, then I would have it in 2 partitions, and I'd have 2 ones, and I'd have 5/10, and I'd multiply it by 4. So I'd do the smallest place value first. So 4 times 5/10 is 20/10. And 20/10 would be a 20 with a 0 in the 10th place, which equals 2. And then I have 4 times 2 ones, which is 8 ones. And that would be 8 in standard form. So then I would just be adding 8 plus 2, which is 10. And that confirms what our reasonable answer was. All right, let's take a look at the next one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 and 1400ths, and we're going to round it to the nearest whole number. So 3 and 1400ths is closest to 3. So I'm going to take 3 times 7. Now, since 7's already a whole number, I'm not going to round it. I'm just going to leave it as a 7. So 3 times 7 equals 21. Now I look at these 4 possible answers, and which one is the closest to 21? Well, if I look at the first one is 2,198, that's close to 2,000, which is way more than 21. The next one is close to 220. 219 and 8/10 is close to 220, so that's way over 21. The next one, the third one, is 21 and 9800ths, which rounds to 22. Now that's so far that's the one that's closest to 21. So that's looking good. And the last one is 2 and 198 thousandths. And as we can see, that's close to 2, which is farther away from 21 than 22 would be. So definitely 21 and 98 hundredths is going to be the closest answer. All right, look at the next one. So just round the decimal. 6 and 22 thousandths is close to 6. So we have 8 times 6, which is 48. I look at my decimals, my answers to the right, and which one is closest to 48. And it looks like 48 and 176 thousandths is closest to 48. And let's take a look at D. We have 9 times 5 and 48 hundredths. 5 and 48 hundredths is close to 5. So 9 times 5 is 45. So I'm looking for an answer that's closest to 45. 493 and 2/10, that's a little far. 49 and 32 hundredths, that's pretty close. 4 and 932 thousandths seems too small. So yes, I think it's going to be 49 and 32 hundredths. And that's basically all there is to this, to this first section.